Ooh.
Man, I completely forgot we even had a theme song. I've never heard the theme song. I don't know how many of you have heard the theme song, but I'm glad we have a theme song.
Yeah.
Welcome to the PHNX Tailgate. I'm Saul Bookman, joined by Derek Montilla and the one and only Shane Diefenbach. We also have somebody that's freezing his ass off in Chicago. But before we get to that, This is the PHNX Tailgate presented to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, where if you just place $1 on any team to score a point in the NFL, you will win $100 in free bets. Roll the intro. And there we go. Oh, my God,
Publish
Leah. Get your shit together.
Johnny Venerable, Chittix Junior High School, Normal, Illinois.
Saul Bookman, Mare Elementary School. Go Wildcats.
Oh, let's pitch the tent. And Johnny has actually set up shop in Chicago, even though we brought him on prematurely.
Hey!
Here we go. Johnny, how's the weather? Are you fucking cold or what?
Yes, it's freezing. It's awful. It's raining on and off. It's minus 40 degree temperature, sub 40, not minus 40.
I was like, damn.
But, well, you know, it is what it is, right? At the end of the day, it's Chicago. It's December. At the end of the day, the Cardinals, to me, they look pretty good in warm-ups. I don't think anybody's been overly affected by it yet. The good news is it's not sloppy yet. The field looks good. They've done a nice job taking care of it. It's not frozen. So in the grand scheme of things, it could be worse. Now, fast forward 90 minutes, 2 hours from now, could look completely different. But right now, there shouldn't be too many adverse conditions that affect at least the first half.
Can I just say, you look beautiful. I love the outfit.
Yeah,
it's a great look. You look fantastic.
No, I was gonna go with no hat, and then my hair got all screwy, so I'm gonna put this back on.
Yeah,
I wanted to be big and tough
beanie.
and do it, but then
It adds an extra inch.
That's a good call. That's a good call, Johnny. You know, if you can't run the fingers through the hair, you might as well wear a hat.
That's a good point.
There you go. Well, hey, Johnny. First, before we get started, how about them frauds who are about to make the top 4 of the CFP, baby?
Get out of here. Yeah, pray for them and their families against Nick Saban. That's all I have to say. Pray for all of them. Take out a bunch of life insurance if you play for Cincinnati, because you are not making out of that game alive. I am anxious to see the spread for that game. It's going to be 30-plus points. It's going to be hilarious. We should do a watch party because, yes, they are frauds. Somehow they got in. At the end of the day, Oklahoma straight, choke job, right?
Yeah.
Georgia, choke job. Cincinnati took care of the teams in their conference that were mostly comprised of, again, high school level teams. So, of course, they're going to get in. So, if the other conferences have to play real teams, that's why they're not in it. Again, Mike Gundy and his mullet, he's a big-time fraud. We saw that yesterday. So, I'm happy for Cincinnati. They picked a year where everybody else lost, so they took advantage.
You alluded to it. You think Alabama's the one now? You think Alabama gets that top spot?
Yeah, for sure. Because what they're not going to do is they're not going to have Georgia and Alabama play in the first round, meaning Michigan would be number 1.
Yeah.
It's going to be this would take this to the bank. It's going to be Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati. So Michigan winning the Big Ten will be number 2. Georgia will drop to 3. And that'll actually be the marquee game, because that other game, that's a throwaway game. We know it's a throwaway game because they let fraud Cincinnati in. Again, pray for their families, the 1 and the 4. No one wants to watch that garbage. They should put that on the freaking public access, because no one's watching that game.
Wow,
dude, Johnny. You know, listen, Johnny.
There are
Just
kids there.
for your own wherewithal, I just want to let you know that should Cincinnati win that game,
Johnny.
oh my,
Stop.
the editing
Never.
and the video beautification of this will never, ever, ever, ever not see the light of day.
You're going to have your own Stephen A. Smith video.
They'll cut together a package on you.
Let's talk about this game. No more. I don't want to talk about this.
No.
Let's talk about this.
We're actually giving the public what they want. We're giving them live CFP updates as they happen off of the feed that we have actually live here in studio of ESPN. So we're going to give some updates on that. But going back to you, so you can get back to your nice little warm, cozy press box, because I know you're cold.
Not warm, cozy.
Give us 2 keys to the game for today if you're a Cardinals fan.
They got to stop the run. You know that David Montgomery is going to get the football early and often. I wouldn't be surprised if he eclipsed 30 carries today. So if the Cardinals can stop the run on early downs and force Andy Dalton into 3rd and long scenarios with a couple backup marginal replacement level tackles against Chandler Jones and Marcus Golden, That will bode well for them defensively. But again, they cannot come out soft against the run on early downs. There could be a long afternoon. And then on the flip side, can the offense for Arizona not turn the ball over? You talk about the weather conditions, the wind, Kyler Murray, who is playing, he is active along with DeAndre Hopkins, the rust that he could have and what that could do to the Cardinal passing game. That's why I think you're going to get a steady dose of James Conner on the flip side for the Cardinals. If they take care of business and don't put the ball on the ground, which is going to be difficult today, it's going to be slippery. People aren't going to be comfortable in this weather. The Cardinals will be fine. But if they screw around and turn the ball over, especially on their own side of the field, that will allow this suboptimal, marginal Chicago Bear team to hang around.
Hi, buddy. How's it going behind you? Chicago fans, get out of here, you losers. All right. Anyway, Johnny, we'll let you get back to the warmth of the booth. We appreciate your time today, buddy. We will see you later on in the post game for PHNX Cardinals as we recap the Bears versus the Cardinals.
Johnny,
today,
I miss you.
Live from Soldier Field.
Miss you, Shane.
Yes.
Bye.
See you guys. All right. Well, Johnny's a fraud, so we'll just go ahead and move along.
Correct.
First of all, his top four. Do we agree with the top four? Do you think that that's how it's going to play out?
I agree with it only because of what he said about Georgia and Alabama not playing each other. I think the committee doesn't want to see that, and I think Alabama has proven that. Yeah, they had some weird games. The Iron Bowl was not a good showing. And obviously the loss earlier in the year, but it's all about who is the best right now. And clearly they beat the best of the best. They scored more points on Georgia's defense at halftime than they had given up the entire year. They had more yards on Georgia's defense than they had given up the entire year. They just exposed them. I mean, that offensive line hasn't showed up this whole year, and now it has. And it looks like a normal Alabama offensive line. That's what makes this team so good. I mean, you give a quarterback 10 seconds, doesn't matter who it is. He's going to find somebody. So
I guess I should have rephrased that. I'm talking about maybe the structure, so the rankings. So 1 through 4, do we agree? Because I think we largely agree that those are the top 4, right? Because you wouldn't slide Notre Dame in there. Notre Dame is probably the only bona fide contender at this point, right? Because they did lose to Cincinnati handily at home.
Yep. No, I think that those 4 are the only 4.
Derek?
No, I agree. Looking at it, I can't see another 4 that belong in. I think the ranking is correct, even though I hate it, but it is what it is.
I would love to push back on this thought that you can't put Michigan at number 1 or move Cincinnati to 2 or 3.
Right.
I would love to, because I would like for the SEC to basically not be able to have the national championship all to itself if they should beat Michigan and Cincinnati. But I think that's exactly how it's going to play out. And the SEC, once again, wins the day because they get 2 playoff teams into the Final Four. And this on the heels of Bob Bowlesby out there in the Big 12 country talking about they might not even be able to come to an agreement for an extended playoff. And I just can't help but think, you idiots, you absolute morons. Yeah. Do you see the way this is going? At this rate, you will never, ever, 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 ever have a CFP without less than 2 SEC teams for the foreseeable future, because everybody's saying that the SEC is the most dominant football conference in the country. Right. Whether it's true or not, that's what they've got everybody believing. This year, out of all years, I don't believe that was the case. I don't believe that the SEC was the most dominant conference in the country. If anything, I would probably argue that maybe the Big Ten was pretty damn close. So I don't like this idea that these Nimrod commissioners out there in the Big 12, even the Pac-12, that don't have a fucking idea about the future of college football and don't want an extended playoff for whatever reason, it just baffles me.
Yeah, and it's 2025 now, right? That's when they can start really figuring it out.
They can make anything happen anytime they want to, but they just don't want to.
But word came out yesterday that they probably won't be able to do it, if at all, until 2025. Look, it's the same thing every damn year. I mean, you have 2 SEC teams or 1 SEC team, but there's clearly a team that's so much better than everyone else, or 2 teams, and then the other 2 are just kind of like, this year's a little different with Michigan. And if Georgia figures it out, you have 3 really good contenders. But usually you have a couple teams, and then you're like, it doesn't really matter who gets in because they're going to get blown out. If you have that extended playoff, I mean, then you can get one of these teams that can compete, like Oklahoma State. Like I would love to see them go up against an SEC team.
Yeah, but then you can't choke against Baylor.
Yeah, you can't. But
then Baylor would have made
exactly.
the CFP
It
if we were talking about like an 18 format or even extended 12.
Yeah.
Also, on top of that, like everybody was talking about Georgia was clear and far by far the best team in the country, not even close. And then they lose to Alabama yesterday. You can't sit there and tell me that these teams are undoubtedly better than everybody else when Georgia got handled yesterday.
Yeah. Well, and it's because it's an SEC team, right? It's the once again backing up in their mind the most dominant division. I don't understand how that conference, or you can't just have one winner out of selected conferences instead of two. Like, am I being too naive there, or does it feel like that college football wants multiple SEC teams in there?
I think college football wants that.
Yeah, I mean, because they could easily say just
Alabama being number one is good for college football.
Yeah, it's good for college football. However, I just need more than just the 4 fucking teams.
Yeah,
because
no, exactly.
Imagine a scenario where we didn't have an NCAA tournament every single year for basketball.
Yeah.
And we picked the top 4 teams.
It'd be a nightmare.
And that's it.
Right.
Duke would be in it every fucking year.
Right. Exactly.
I still remember like 6 years ago, or not 6, like 10 years ago, I was so upset because it was before the playoff even was a thing. And I was like, why? This doesn't make sense. This does not make sense. And now it feels like I'm back to that spot. It's like only 4 teams. I mean, that's the problem I have with college football sometimes is a team that is a top 25 team, but clearly not a CFP team. They have trouble getting up to play these like week 10 games. Like, what am I playing for? Am I playing for the fucking Cheez-It Bowl? Like, who cares?
Yeah.
I just have such a problem with the way they do it. And I understand why conference championships and all this, like, I get it. Like, I understand why people love college football, but that's the problem I have with it. I just can't get past that. There's nothing to play for sometimes for these teams.
This is such an easy solution to me. It just doesn't even make sense. Listen, you have 8 teams make the playoff. Just 8.
Mm-hmm.
You have your Power 5 conference 5.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the winners of that conference championship, or maybe even eliminate conference championships if you're worried about how many games they got to play. Yeah. You don't give a fuck about how many games they got to play.
Yeah, and if
come on, let's be real.
If it doesn't end up impacting the playoffs, then what does it matter?
Exactly.
Right?
So you have 8 teams make the playoff. 5 your conference championship 5 from the Power 5, and then you have 3 at large. Okay. Now the 3 at large, we could always debate. Oh, well, does this team deserve to get in? Yeah. But one of those 3 at large should be a non-Power 5 team.
Yeah,
so a non-group of 5.
Agree. Sure.
I think the best non-group of 5 team should have an automatic bid as well. So, and then you play. Once you get to the national championship, then you reseed the other 6 teams that didn't make it to the national championship into a certain bowl game, the Rose Bowl. If you still have Big Ten, Pac-12 that didn't make it to the national championship, they still get represented at the Rose Bowl, the Fiesta, the Sugar. Sure. And then the national championship rotates between those 4 big bowls. Like, that just makes too much damn sense to me. But these guys they got their heads so far up their ass. And it's such an antiquated way of doing college football.
Yeah.
College football used to be like the most beloved sport in the country. Like, there's just so much pageantry. There's just so much energy. The fan bases go crazy. They love it. And it feels like with this era of unlimited transfers and coaches leaving their programs before they even get to the conference championship game, everything feels so like professional. And that's not why people love college football.
And I think it's going to be so hard to transition to what you were saying because of the tradition that they still hold on to. The commissioners of everything still love the bowl game that was invented in the 1900s. They want to capture that. They want to stay there. So it's hard to transition out of that into a new era that would make more sense, like you were talking about. It's going to be hard, and I hope it gets done. I didn't see the CFP getting done this soon, and it's been around for 8+ years now. So,
but when you talk about that, did you think that they really wanted to maintain the history of the illustrious PapaJohn.com bowl and all of those that's the point that I think even waters down the bowl games, is the fact that bowl games as a whole kind of get made into a joke because of how many there are, how ridiculous some of them are, right? And I get it. They're going to still do those bowl games, right? But I mean, for someone like myself, that I'm not a big college football guy, I don't think, it doesn't interest me for Alabama to be number 1, and it doesn't interest me for them to have a billion bowl games that start now and will play through the next 4 weeks. You know what I mean? I personally don't need that. I like the bigger bowl games. I don't see the point of playing for these smaller bowls.
Unfortunately, now, like if you're talking about a Power 5 school that's got to go play in like the Papa John's Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Like I get what you're saying. However, you do want some type of a reward for these athletes because they don't have a giant opportunity to get to the national championship, right?
Sure.
That's why the bowl games make sense. Like
UTSA. UTSA goes undefeated.
Exactly.
Loses. Why? Why do they care? Why are they going to keep winning? To play in a good bowl game.
Exactly. Right. To play in a good bowl game. Like
that makes sense.
There are a lot of seniors. There are a lot of players. I mean, think about it. Every team has 80 plus athletes on their football roster. It's just not fair to just disregard them and not have a bowl system. It's not everybody gets a ribbon. To me, I feel like it's a little bit different, and that's the thing that separates college football, because there aren't 68 teams that get an opportunity to battle for a national championship.
Sure.
If that were the case, then do away with the bowl games.
Right, like what he said, a team can go undefeated, do everything they needed to do, whoop everybody's ass, but it's some weak division or weak conference that they don't consider to be a national champion caliber, or that their strength of schedule wasn't high enough.
I'm almost glad UTSA lost. Because I didn't want it to turn into another USF or UCF situation where it's like, we're the best team. I'm like, no. And I don't think they're like that. But
no, they're not.
Yeah, to me, I think the bowls are fine. And it's something to bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook app. It's so fun. I love bowl games to bet on because there's people playing for the last time. You get people sitting out. It's really fun. But something does need to change, and I think it will. You see a lot of changes in not only college football, but every sport. The new ownership, people are becoming aware of what people want now, and the voices are more represented than they have been in the past. So I think it will change. It's going to take some time.
College football and college sports in its entirety, the people that are at the NCAA, like Mark Emmert, like those guys, and I've never met them. I don't have any bias towards or for them. I will say this. There are too many old dudes that want to run things the old way, and they don't understand the nuances of today's student athletes, the younger generation, how people consume things. Like, they need to get out of the way and let a more refreshing, a more up-to-date system take place, because college football needs it. It needs to be represented the correct way, and it needs to afford more opportunity for more teams, because if you do that, then the fan bases are more invested for a longer period of time. It just builds and builds. But when it's almost like the CFP is its own entity, and then it's everything else. And I don't like that. So
that makes
anyway, we'll move along and stop our soapbox rant right now. Low Tone Component in the comments says, just wait till USC gets in. True. Which will probably be next year, which is funny. Anyway, we're going to move along to survey says.
Wait.
Whoa,
do we want to touch before we get away from college football?
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely. Let's go back to this absolute fraud of a situation.
Man, I hate this so much.
We have this clip. Quarterback for Pitt scrambles, and then he looks like he's about to take a fake slide, and then he doesn't, and he fools everybody, takes it to the house.
I mean, this made me so mad, because I completely get the rules to protect players and especially quarterbacks. Completely understand it.
Sure.
The NFL, it's gotten bad with like the slaps on the head, and I get why that's a rule. Trust me. But when you use the rule to your advantage, it sucks. And even he did that intentionally. But even when quarterbacks get out of the pocket, you see linebackers or safeties running downhill. You see them let up a little bit, and sometimes the quarterback will break a tackle or something. But when you see them use that rule to their advantage, it just shows you how shitty it is for the defenders. I mean, it's impossible. You saw Six slow up. You saw the safety be apprehensive tackling him, and it just sucks. It sucks. That should be a 15-yard penalty.
The intent to slide.
Yeah,
that's it. That should be the intent to slide, 15-yard penalty, take it back, and loss of down, because you can't do that. You should not be able to do that.
The rule is you are down where you start your slide. That should be a start of a slide. He should be down right there.
Yeah,
that's literally what it should. I hate it. I hate it.
I'm fine with it. I thought what he did was great.
Oh my God. It's because you're a wrestling fan. You like that fake shit.
Yeah, well, that is part of it. It was the showmanship. It was the fact he sold it so well.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, like, I agree with what you're saying, though. It's ridiculous on defenders what they get called for as far as all of that stuff goes.
Yeah.
You know, a quarterback throwing the ball. The man is running at him full speed. He was almost wrapped up right before he threw the ball, and yet somehow that's a penalty against the defender for
like B says, the defense is impossible to play nowadays, and especially being a corner.
Oh.
Corner is the hardest position to play in almost, I think, any sport. It's incredibly hard. You can you can lock up your coverage, you can do your job, and then the quarterback comes out and that shit happens. I'd lose my shit.
Yeah.
I'd lose it.
God. If I was a coach, I absolutely would have lost my shit.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the Wake Forest coach was like,
yeah.
WTF, man.
But there's nothing you can do because there's no rule implemented.
I was going to say,
now.
what
I bet this starts a conversation, and I bet they come up with they at least talk about creating something where that can't happen again because it's ridiculous.
But it's just such a, I mean, again, like you were saying, sometimes the quarterback isn't intending it, like in that case, to fake them out. He was just running and he sees defenders coming at him, has a chance to maybe,
Ohio State. Ohio State is number 6.
Go around it.
I thought we wanted to do it live.
We're going to get to it in a second. So, as Shane alluded to, the CFP rankings are coming out right now. These guys are talking their asses off on ESPN, but what you can know right now is that Ohio State is the number 6 ranked team in the CFP, deservedly so. 10-2 season. They got mollywopped by Michigan in the last game of the year. They lost at home against Oregon. They really had no case to be in the CFP, despite the fact that a lot of people will argue that they are probably the best offense in the country when all things are clicking. Then we saw Alabama play yesterday, and everybody's kind of second-guessing that.
Yeah. Look, this team is going to be a problem for the next 3 years. I mean, their roster is so damn young. A freshman quarterback, a freshman running back. It's ridiculous how good this team is going to be. I'm excited to see what they can do.
Notre Dame comes in at number 5, so that basically locks up Cincinnati in the top 4.
Cincinnati's going to be 7.
If there was any doubt, for sure. Coach Freeman taking over the Notre Dame program, defensive coordinator. Everybody was pretty hyped up. If you didn't get a chance to see the video on social media, it was pretty cool because when they announced who the new coach was going to be, then the door busted open and he walked through, and the players just absolutely loved their mind. Lost their mind, not love their mind. Lost their mind. It was pretty awesome to see that. That's what we love about college athletes, right? The passion that they have for that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's incredible, and it's like you said. That's why even those smaller bowl games are important because it means so much to them. Even though I could care less.
Why?
Again, Papa John's.
Cincinnati. There you go. Cincinnati comes in at number 4. As we all expected, we're waiting to see who number 1 is. There is a little bit of a debate that could, I guess, be had between Michigan or Alabama at number 1. But Alabama, because they play in the overrated SEC, is got a higher strength of schedule. They beat more legit teams. Blah 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 blah. Because it's listen, I don't love Alabama, but I respect Alabama. Alabama's much like the Patriots. They just always so consistent, and I like Greg Byrne. He's a good friend of mine,
and just like the Patriots, when you see a disciple play their coach, that like Kirby Smart and Nick Saban, you see what happens. I mean, that's what people were talking about, and it worked. I personally, would you guys rather see? I think the only reason why I want Alabama to be number 1 is because they play Cincinnati. I don't want to see a Michigan-Cincinnati matchup. I want to see what Cincinnati can do against the best of the best.
Exactly.
Because Michigan's great. Trust me. I'm not saying they're not, but I just think Alabama's in another tier in terms of NFL talent. So I really want to see that matchup.
It wouldn't be as impressive if Cincinnati beat Michigan. No. Right?
Listen,
but they beat Alabama. That's incredible.
Exactly. And also, like, we also got to respect history right here. Cincinnati's the very first team out of a non-group of 5 team to make it to the college football playoff. That says a tremendous amount, not only about college football, but also, I feel like there's more parity in college football late.
Yeah,
because,
for sure.
And that's why I don't subscribe to the fact that the SEC is just this almighty, powerhouse conference. They had a lot of talent. They still have a lot of talent. But I feel like it's more disseminated than that, and people just buy that the South has all the football talent, which they do.
Sure,
that doesn't necessarily mean that those are the best teams.
Yeah,
though.
But if they're always ranking the teams in the SEC high, and then other teams in the SEC play those teams and beat them, then those teams get ranked high.
Yep.
It's like a cyclical process that you can't break out of, or you can't give credit to other conferences and what those teams can do. You're always going to say that conference is better than all the other conferences.
Absolutely. Georgia comes in at number 3. So, according to the script, This is exactly how we thought it was going to play out. Cincinnati at 4, and then Georgia at number 3. So I would assume Michigan by default will be number 2, and then Alabama will be the number 1 team in the country. ESPN right now making the case between Michigan and Alabama, as we see both of them 12-1 on the season, first and second in the polls. I mean, both of them good, solid opponents, quality teams. If they place Michigan at number 1, to your point, I will be disappointed because that's the whole point, right? Everybody. You see the signs. We want Bama, right? Mm-hmm. Cincinnati wants Bama. Yeah. They don't care if they get mollywopped by 50 points. They want to see where they stand on the litmus test against
so does everybody else. Everybody else wants to see that. I mean, people like Johnny, the people that think Cincinnati should be in the college football playoff, regardless if you think they should or not, we're going to see if they even come close to deserving it with playing Alabama. Look, if they lose by 30 and they look like they can compete at least in the first quarter, then sure, maybe you deserved it. But I think they could play them close. Another reason why I don't want to see Bama ranked 2 is because I want to see Michigan and Georgia. That game is going to be so damn fun because we saw the Georgia defense just get exposed yesterday. Their blitzing wasn't working, and now they play a completely different team who's now super run heavy. Don't rely on their offensive line as much. This matchup is electric as well. I'm really excited if the 2 and 3 matchup stays where it is.
Well, so Georgia, for the most part this season, has relied on their front four to put immense pressure on the offense.
Couldn't get home
yesterday. It gave the defensive backs plenty of opportunity. Oh shit!
There
I
it
thought
is.
they were coming.
I did too.
I know they always do that.
Dirty dogs. Alabama comes in at number 1, as we all hoped. Michigan at number 2. So that is your final 4 for the college football playoff. Alabama versus Cincinnati. Michigan versus Georgia.
This is great.
You know what? I'm all for it. This is a little refreshing twist on everything. 2 teams that we are not used to seeing in the college football playoff in Michigan and Cincinnati. They're going to get their chances to play to reach the national championship, and we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I always root for chaos. You know, I was talking about a situation yesterday where what happens if Michigan loses to Iowa and Georgia wins, so now Alabama's out. And Oklahoma State wins, who the hell do you put in? Is Cincinnati going to? Honestly, I like this situation more. You're getting the best teams. As much as I don't believe in Cincinnati as a really top team, they definitely deserve to be in the college football playoff. And I'm really excited to see them get their chance because me, like everybody, has their doubts, and I want to see them against the best of the best, and they want to play the best of the best. So I'm really excited with how this whole thing turned out.
Yeah, again, Cincinnati. Listen. If they should somehow pull off the upset, we've seen these kind of upsets before.
For sure.
That's going to change everybody's perspective on the SEC.
It's going to change rankings. It's going to change the way that people approach the AP pool. It might change even the way the CFP starts running their shit when it comes to smaller teams. I mean, that they could legitimately change everything if they win.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for the first portion of this. It was a very long pitch to 10 series, but that is your college football playoff. We've been waiting all season to see if Cincinnati was going to get in. So fuck you, Johnny. They got in. That's all I wanted to do all season long. They got in. I don't care if you think they're frauds.
I'm so mad that he's not here.
Now. I'm a Bearcat forever since the last 3 weeks.
Suck it, Johnny.
I'm so mad that he's not here for this.
I know.
I hope you're cold.
So disappointing. I hope you're freezing your ass off in Chicago. All right. Now we will go to let's go to everybody's favorite segment. Survey says. Leah, what you got?
All right. So as many of you know, or maybe you don't, Saul's getting married this week.
Hey.
So I thought, let's play the newlywed game. Except it's just going to be Shane and Derek answering questions about Saul.
All right.
And Saul doesn't know this. Nobody knows this. But Saul, you're going to have to answer them.
These.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
So this one, and you should know this. If you're in our Secret Santa chat for our work thing.
Uh-oh.
What's Saul's favorite color?
Oh, man.
Oh, yes.
Fuck.
Oh, no.
Oh, my God.
I don't pay attention to stuff like this.
Give me yellow.
I'm going to go with blue.
It is Derek. He is correct. It is navy blue.
Look at that. All right.
Nice job,
1 point, Derek. Nice. All right. Next question. What is Saul's favorite restaurant?
I'm really
what's
sad
that place called? China Chili.
Oh Oh my gosh! If Josh Kelman could see this right now,
Oh my
he'd be
God.
like, that is definitely not Saul's favorite.
I don't want to discredit him, but I'm just gonna say Zips because he's there all the time.
No, I'm only there all the time because it's right across the street. It's actually Papado.
Oh,
I
Papado.
love me some Papado.
Nice. Papado's great.
All right. What is Saul's favorite movie?
Oh, he's quoted so many of them.
Yes.
There's
only two. There's only two.
There's
I'll
only
give you
two
one
movies.
of the two choices if you get them.
Okay.
Quoted Friday a lot.
Friday's a great movie.
Quoted Grandma's Boy a lot. I'm gonna go with that.
I'll take Friday.
Definitely not Friday. Grandma's Boy's close. That's in my top 5, but it would be Willy Wonka.
What?
Yeah, Willy Wonka. Or I would have gone with Shawshank because I love Shawshank.
Oh, Shawshank, yeah. That's the best movie ever made.
Oh, Willy Wonka. I quote the shit out of
Yeah,
Willy Wonka. Oh, yeah. A little nonsense now and then, cherished by the wisest men. There you go.
Oh my god.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
This makes a lot of sense about us and this company and him constantly walking us past the lake of chocolate out front.
Just a lot of nonsense.
The original Wonka?
Yeah, of course. Not that Johnny Depp bullshit. Of course. Oh,
Dude, the Johnny Depp-
Gene Wilder. Too.
Yeah, the
to
Johnny
end.
Depp one's a little too distracting
Yeah,
for
It's
me.
too.
That's too weird.
All right. What is a food Saul would never eat?
Fuck, I don't know. I've seen him eat some weird shit.
Have you?
No, just those gummy bears that were spicy, but those were bomb.
Yeah,
that was so good. I don't know. I have no idea. I've seen you eat sushi. I've seen you eat seafood. I've seen you eat Chinese. Nothing.
Hot dog with ketchup on it.
No, I would probably say fucking Applebee's boneless wings. Or I would have gone with beets, just beets. I would never eat a beet.
Whenever you
ever.
say Applebee's boneless wings on a PHNX show, it actually spawns Cheerston in the comments.
Yeah, Kirsten's here now.
She should be here any second now.
She gets an alert on her Apple Watch.
Oh my god. Okay, and now we're just gonna gas up Saul because it's his last day of work for like 2 weeks. He's gonna go get married, yay! So this one's a little sappy. But what is your favorite thing about Saul?
I have just had the most overwhelming support on this in this last week from everybody here, and that starts with Saul. So I just think he's a great leader, and the way he runs this PHNX and the way we've expanded, it's been great. So
Thank you.
Yeah,
I can't help but echo that. I think that me personally, Saul has believed in me more than most people in my life have. So I think it's the fact that we've had the conversations we've had, and that I've not had somebody look at me and tell me, you're fucking better than this.
that was a good
And
Saul
that's
impression.
Saul.
He's also got a great nose.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
I do.
it's between those two things.
It's a pretty big schnoz. So, well, I appreciate that, guys, very much. You know, last night I lost my dog, and that means a lot. So I appreciate it. Well, anyway, before I start crying here, let's go ahead and move on to. Do you have another one, or is that it? Okay, thank God that's over. I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't want to say nice things
5
about
minutes.
Saul
Yeah,
anymore. Come on.
I'm not used to hearing nice things. So, let's move on to Tap That App, where we give you our drops, our props, and our locks, or props, locks, and drops. And we'll start with you, Shane. What's your biggest prop of the day?
I'm gonna take a team total. The under in the Lions, and I'm taking the under in this game for my that's my lock. We'll get to that later, but I'm taking the under Lions team total. I think it's somewhere around 13 or 16, somewhere in that area. I don't have the exact number with me, but I just don't think they're going to score at all today. Jared Goff and that awful offense. I just have no faith in them, and now watch them absolutely light up the scoreboard because it's a division game. I just don't have faith in this game having much offense in general, so I'm taking their team total under.
Derek?
Well, for me, you can take anything running related or anti-passing related in the Cardinals-Bears game. I went with James Conner as an anytime scorer. You can do Dalton or Kyler Murray, honestly, under passing yardage. I don't think either of them are going to reach very high in passing yardage. I also like the Cardinals in the race to either 5 or 10, just to score more points than I think it's going to. I think it's going to be a heavy running game. I think the Cardinals are going to do a great job at stopping the Bears, and I'm leaning towards any props in that game and involving the run game.
Okay. As a reminder, if you want to take advantage of any of these props, please go use the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Where right now, if you just place $1 on any team to score, you will get $100 in free bets just like that by using promo code PHNX. It's the DraftKings Sports customers can also get skin in the game with the new same game parlay, so you can parlay some of these bets to make your odds even bigger, which is highly recommended, especially on football Sunday. And you can combine multiple bets from the same game for a bigger payout. The more legs you add, the more money you can win. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. Best of all, you can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Let's get to, before we get to the main thing I gotta say. My prop is Andy Dalton. There's no fucking way he's gonna throw for more than 200 yards. He won't even throw for more than 125 yards today. If I could take that, I would. But under 214.5. I feel like that's a pretty safe bet. I'd take the under.
You can, in same game parlays, you can take the under in an alternate line.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So I would look into that.
The same game parlays, that's what this guy taught me. There's so many options as far as things you can just add for those extra legs, and some of them really are kind of a no-brainer kind of addition to a parlay that just give you that much better payout.
Awesome. When we talk about locks for the day, to me, this is going to shock a lot of people, but I'm taking this to the bank. Jets over Eagles.
What?
I'm taking Jets over Eagles because the stash is playing for the Eagles today. He's getting the start. Gardner Minshew, if you don't know, now you know. He's getting the start for the Eagles today.
And that line is way better now. It was 7.5. I tweeted this on the bets account. With Gardner Minshew, or with Jalen Hurts being announced, he's officially out. The line went all the way down to 5.5. I think it's at 5 now. I love that.
Yep. I'm taking the Jets. Feel good about that pick today. So that's my lock. What about you?
My lock is Colts over Texans by 10. I just believe a lot in the Colts, and I don't believe in the Texans at all. So I think they're going to get there. Yep,
looking like the front runner for offensive player of the year. Yeah, I like that team.
They're a solid team.
It's a division game, though. That's what scares me a little bit. So
it's the Texans, though.
Yeah. My lock. This is actually trending in the wrong direction now. So I bet on this over under 2 days ago. Minnesota, Detroit. It was at 47 and moved down to 45, and now it's back up to 47.5. And there's a lot of money coming in on the over now. Freaks me out a little bit. I'm still taking it. Dirt Detroit Lions in Detroit. Division games after week 10 are like a ridiculous amount on the under. It's like 10-2 this year or something. I'm taking the under in this game all day. Jared Goff's now going to have a career high in passing yards and touchdowns in a game. I can just feel it after saying this, but I'm taking the under at 47.5. Yeah, I like that.
Best game of his career.
Yeah, probably.
All right, and then finally your drops, things that you're not touching today. I will start because though it might be the game that I'm kind of looking forward to the most outside of the Cardinals game, just to see how they bounce back from the bye week. I want to see these two teams play because I just feel like I don't know what I'm going to get, and that's the Pats and the Bills today. I don't know what I'm going to get from the Bills. The Pats seem like they're on a roll, but they haven't really played like tremendous competition. They haven't really beat anybody noteworthy really in the last several weeks. Everybody got really hyped up.
It's a Monday game, I think.
Yeah, and everybody got hyped up because the Pats fared better against the Bucs than people thought they would, and that's kind of where they took off. I feel like they gained confidence from that, but I feel like there's a little bit of false confidence because they beat some just okay teams. No. Like everybody got hyped up off them beating the Browns. I'm like, the Browns suck.
Yeah,
like they're not as good as people think they are.
Yeah, they're not.
I'm kind of wondering. And then on top of that, the Bills have been wildly inconsistent this year, losing to the Jags, but then blowing out the Texans like 41-0. Yeah. Like I don't know which Bills team is going to show up. That scares me. But that also intrigues me about that game. That's why I'm not touching it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to touch that game at all. Primetime football. Look, as you said, the Patriots got back to their way on defense, putting up some historic numbers. But again, it wasn't against great offenses. Sure. And I think that really speaks to Belichick just taking advantage of what's there. This defense has been really good, but they're also playing one of the hardest receiving cores to defend. You can't play zone against Cole Beasley, and you can't play man against Stephon Diggs. I'm really excited to watch this game, especially it being on Monday Night Football in its own slot. That's my drop as well. I'm not touching that game. I even though I bet on the Patriots earlier this week to take advantage of their line. It's now at 2.5. It was at 3.5 the other day. So yeah, staying away now.
I'm staying away from the Chargers versus Bengals, kind of for the same reason. Yeah, it's just I have no idea what either of these teams are going to do. They both proved to be very good teams this year, and I don't know which direction this game is going to go at all.
The
Chargers look so bad.
Oh man, the Chargers are so wildly up and down.
Yeah,
it's
so
not even
so
Their
bad
defense
and so
shouldn't
good.
be as bad as it is. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make any sense for sure.
Yeah.
As a reminder, if you're going to use the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you must be 21 and over. Arizona only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gentlemen, we're heading into the last segment of the day. Let's go ahead and get off my lawn. Presented by Burger King Travel Club, where there's a bunch of people. If you haven't seen it on social, check out our PHNX sports account, especially on Instagram, and you'll see Johnny live from the tailgate in Chicago right now. It's a freaking blast, despite the fact that they're probably all freezing their asses off. And if you want to freeze your ass off again, I assure you, you can. If you can just join us in Dallas, because that's exactly where they're going to be in January for New Year's. You can do that. But more importantly, take advantage of the PHNX tailgate that is coming up. It's not even a tailgate. It's a block party going on for the next game, which is next Monday against the Rams, those stupid Rams. Monday, December 13th. Come join us.
Bunch of idiots.
Down at the Lola. We're going to have that whole section cordoned off. We'll have a stage. We'll have DJ, music, all you can drink and all you can eat for 3 hours up until game time. We kick it all off at 2 o'clock. It goes all the way to 5. The kickoff is, I believe, at 5:15, 5:30, so you won't miss a second of the game. So please join us. Go to BurgerKingTravel.com. I was trying to think of it. BurgerKingTravel.com, and you can visit their site and buy a ticket. Buy it now so it's cheaper than later, because if you wait till later, it'll cost you about another 20 ducats.
It's a blast. And by the way, when they say all you can drink, they mean it. It's very Willy Wonka-esque, where, I was like, can I have this? Yes, you can have whatever you want. That's how easy it was.
I'm still waiting on word if I can take my shirt off at the tailgate or not. So if you're interested in that, that'll be there as well.
Are you going to be painted underneath? I mean, Cardinal logo, not anything?
I'm not telling anybody.
Okay, well, now I'm intrigued.
All right, then.
Well,
anything goes when Saul's gone.
You had my attention. Now you have my curiosity.
Exactly.
Don't quote Leonardo DiCaprio in this show. I think you're going to get away with that. That's like one of my favorite lines out of that movie. That's from Django for anybody who's ever seen that. Okay. Anyway, Bears versus Cards in Soldier Field, as we saw from Johnny. A lot that's kind of out there, a little unknown. Kyler's coming back. DeAndre Hopkins back in the fold today. A little bit of wet weather, but though we don't know how wet the weather is going to be, we don't know how windy it's going to be. One of the things that we also have to take into account, right? Cliff Kingsbury, Texas Tech, Lubbock, Texas, always windy.
Yep.
Norman, Oklahoma, always windy. So Kyler and Cliff have had experiences in these environments where it's super windy or even a little bit chilly. And so I don't think that's going to be as much a factor. It still sucks to play in the cold, but it's not as bad as people think. Right. However, the one thing I'm taking away from this game today is those players are out there and like, man, this is like 40 degrees, maybe a little bit sub 40. It's close to chill, with the wind in it, it's going to be, it's going to be freezing temperatures, right? Yeah, I definitely don't want to play in Green Bay come January. So we need to take care of business right now.
Yeah, for real.
The things that Matt LaFleur and that offense are doing right now is terrifying. He is the best coach at finding mismatches. And I know we're talking about the Cardinals game, but I'm just echoing your point that you do not want to play Green Bay in Green Bay.
Okay. I was like, what?
It's just the worst.
Yeah.
Speaking of coaches, Matt Nagy is almost out of a job. This game can be that game that the Cardinals can make this game a fireable offense. And I hope they do. Somebody asked earlier if they should start DeAndre Hopkins or somebody else in fantasy, I would wait on DeAndre. It kind of depends on what you need in this game. If you need
Brandon Ayuk, I think.
Ayuk, yeah. I would start Ayuk just because it's the more safe option. I think, especially with the rain, they're not going to want to play Hopkins too much.
Yeah. I think Johnny said this is the worst field conditions that Kyler has faced yet in the NFL. So that's just something to take into consideration. I agree with what Saul said, though. I'm not as worried about it. It's not like they haven't played in bad conditions. It's just, up to this point, he hasn't had to play in, this kind of weather conditions, this kind of field.
Yeah, the only thing that can kill the Cardinals today is them beating themselves. Because if they don't get points on the first couple drives, I could easily see Darnell Mooney sneaking out and being wide open somehow, and Andy Dalton completing a pass. Ends up in a touchdown.
A single pass.
Yeah, completing a pass is pretty crazy. But this isn't a game where you can walk through for sure. I mean, it's on the road. You're playing a team that really needs this game, and a coach that really needs this game. So it's definitely not going to be easy, but I'm not worried about the outcome as long as they show up to play.
Last year, the Cardinals went into Dallas on Monday Night Football and absolutely murdered the Cowboys. The quarterback was Andy Dalton. And they absolutely made Andy Dalton look like a high school football player.
Yeah.
I think the same thing will hold true today. The Red Rocket or the Red Rifle or whatever the fuck they call him ain't going to do shit. I don't care. And he had a better offensive coordinator last year than he does this year.
Sure.
So I can't imagine that all of a sudden he's taking this step up and going to be miraculously better than he actually is.
And it's not like the offense is geared around someone like him. It's obviously geared towards more athletic quarterbacks.
And you're dealing with a healthier Cardinals team now.
A better defense.
A better defense.
Yeah, without doubt.
There's just no chance. There's no scenario in my mind where the Bears are just going to run the ball down the Cardinals' throat for 4 quarters. So we'll see how this plays out. If there's one player that you're looking for today, who is that one player?
Isaiah Simmons. That's what I'm looking for today. Just defensively, I think like when you talk about teams running the ball down the Cardinals' throat, that's exactly what they've been doing and having success at it at times. Simmons talked yesterday, I think it was yesterday, about how he doesn't see anyone on this team taking any teams lightly. When they talk about the trap game, when they talk about playing down to your opponent or whatever, he doesn't feel like this team is doing that. He thinks that their preparation is on next level, and he seemed very focused in the press conference. So I'd love to see a big day from him.
Yeah, I think the defense as a whole, really, it's the run defense, the front seven specifically. Marcus Golden needs to get home if they even decide to pass. I don't think they should. But I think the player I'm most looking at, it's obvious, but it's Kyler Murray. I mean, this guy has been counted out of the MVP conversation because he missed 3 games, and certainly the Cardinals winning 2 of those games without him doesn't help. But you still, like, this guy has been so damn good for this team. He's starting a revolution in Arizona with the offense, him and Cliff. If they can make, as I said, this game a fireable offense for Matt Nagy, I think he's right back up there for MVP. So I'm really excited to see what Kyler Murray looks like, especially in bad conditions.
I want to put out an APB. An all points bulletin for those of you who know.
Yeah, I was like, what the?
Yeah. That's basically a missing persons alert, yes. Because I haven't seen my guy Christian Kirk in a minute.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Christian Kirk, bro, where you at?
You're Christian Kirk.
Huh?
I said contract year, Christian Kirk.
Yeah, like hey, you're costing yourself some money, buddy.
Sneaky good for the Cardinals though that he's not going crazy. Maybe the price goes down.
Maybe the price goes down.
Sure.
Hey, listen, Christian Kirk has got to do something today.
Yeah,
like he's you got DeAndre Hopkins now. That's going to suck away a lot of the attention. What are you going to do with that? Rondale Moore, guys like that. They need to be able to produce today because the attention will revert back to DeAndre Hopkins, and they should get plenty of opportunities. Zach Ertz over the middle, but mainly Christian Kirk. We need something from you today. We need to start to see this offense. They've had spots where they take advantage of opportunities. I would like to see just an overall, just a nice spreading of success through all the receivers, running backs, tight ends. That'll make me feel very good heading into the upcoming weeks. And they have three solid games coming up against playoff contending teams with the Colts, Cowboys. I'm forgetting the other one. There's one other team. Oh, and the Rams. Next week. So it's not going to get easy despite the fact that they only have the Lions and the Seahawks left on the schedule. So that are not going to be making the playoffs, obviously. That's it for us here on the PHNX Tailgate. Make sure you go to gophnx.com. Check out all our awesome gear. We have a brand new t-shirt that we just dropped this week called Southwest Bias, because, you know, we're in the Southwest and we're a little biased about it. So, you know, fuck the coast. We don't care about them. Check that out. Get one. It's a great holiday gift. And we also have gift cards on the site. Check it out. Become a member. By becoming a member, you get $30 towards a t-shirt. So you can buy your favorite t-shirt from your favorite team on our site. Got a lot of great gear and stuff coming your way. We also got some hats that are going to be dropping soon, some sticker packs, things of that nature. So a lot of gifts that you can purchase on our site for the holiday season. And also, one more thing. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, just kind of in passing, but this episode I'm going to dedicate to my dog, Dude, who we had to put down, unfortunately, yesterday. He's my guy. He was a rescue, which I'm a big proponent of. Craig Morgan and the Coyotes crew, they do a lot of great work with rescues in the area. Dude was a rescue. His name was Big Mike, actually, when I first got him. But Dude was a rescue. And I tell you what, like the first time I ever took him on a walk, he had he was afraid of the leash. Like he was just petrified of the leash. And so I would just take him on walks every single day. And he started to realize that like the leash was not a bad thing. I don't know what this previous owner had with him. Probably something screwed up, but he started to associate that as a good thing. And so his favorite thing was to play ball. And he would turn into a completely different dog when he'd play ball. Like he would be like, if he was in here right now, he'd just be laying down here on the floor. I want you to just pet him.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't like super needy or anything like that.
But when the ball
when the ball came out, this dude was a ravage beast. He was just like, give me that ball. I need that ball. So we'd throw and play catch on the U of A Mall, because the U of A Mall is like a 300-yard long stretch of grass. And it was just fantastic. So rest in peace, dude. I miss you. And so for that, that's another episode of the PHNX Tailgate. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you next time. Go Cardinals.
Go Cardinals.